All right, everybody. Sorry for the last week. We unfortunately missed out. We've been doing so many different projects that we were failed to get an episode out. But we're doing one here from the ranch, and I'm gonna have a copy of the video of the rainbow that was here yesterday. That was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
so beautiful. Double rainbow.
Double rainbow. Yeah.
And it touched down on both sides on our property, which was really
Yeah, so
interesting.
that's popping up while we're talking a little bit about that. And so Teddy, I'm not sure why he's acting up. He just went outside and now he just kind of wants to play. But
Yeah.
anyways, so today we kind of want to get back onto the GLP-1 gravy train, we kind of call it. There's been a lot of things that we're seeing in our practice. Darlene's been seeing with the patients, and it is quite interesting to see now that it's been around for so long. It's been people have gone through the whole wide range of it. They plateaued, practitioners are trying to do different things. And so today we want to talk about a little bit about those different things and really talk about a few points that kind of make it more efficient, things that you need to be checking. Why am I not losing weight on a GLP-1 or a GIP? Well, why am I, losing weight slowly? Do I have the right education on understanding how it should work? Things like that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about some points that Darlene has put together, and we'll kind of take it from there. So Darlene, what are some of the big things that you're seeing now that you've done this for about 3.5 years and going on 4 now? What are the big things that you're seeing now that are making it better for patients, things that people are kind of talking about?
I think the number one thing is when people get closer to their goal weight, they're counting pounds instead of percent, but also they're counting the fact that they're gaining more muscle and which muscle weighs more than fat, right? So you've got to take that into account, which is why you need to do some sort of a shape scale where you can measure, it scans your muscle, your lean muscle mass, and then also your visceral fat in your body so that you can kind of like see where you're going. Are you still going down on the fat?
Yeah.
Are you going up on the muscle, etc.? And honestly, that is what we're seeing happening. And people will come in and do their weigh-in and they haven't changed, but their body looks different. So keep that in mind. Okay. That's number one. I want you to take out those people that feel like they're not losing weight, but they actually are because they're gaining muscle. Okay. Then we've got some plateau busters.
Right.
So there's a lot of plateau busters that we have found that work really well. So one of them is nutrition tweaks. So if you are not taking in the correct nutrition and this GLP-1 is metabolizing your sugars before your stored fat, because that's all you take in is carbs and sugar, then keep that in mind. Go on a very low carb diet for the rest of your journey, because that's going to make sure that you're only losing your fat instead of the stored fat, instead of just what you're bringing into your body and metabolizing that a little bit more efficiently, which is good too. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't take the carbs and the sugar in the first place, you're going to lose more weight and you're going to save more money. Okay. So that's one. The next is to make sure you're moving, because the movement strategy where, a lot of people were not moving much because they felt like they weren't taking in enough calories. Well, that's debunked. Okay. You take your greens, 1 scoop of greens in your water or protein, and you continue on with your protein and your water and your greens every day. You should have enough energy to do your workouts every day. So don't come to me and tell me I can't work out because I just don't have the energy. Well, you don't have the energy because you're not taking in the greens or the protein or the water, right? So do that. Energy tweaks, nutrition tweaks, protein tweaks. Do those first, and then let's see. Okay, now if that doesn't work, then we're going to start working on tweaks when it comes to the actual semaglutide itself. So that would be, microdosing. Okay, a lot of people will take their 1 dose that they're supposed to have and they'll split it into 3 or 4 doses that week. Now, a lot of people are actually decreasing their dose little by little by doing this because it's working really well. Don't do that at the very beginning of starting your microdosing. So let's say you're on 50 units, you split that up into 4 or 5 shots. So that'd be 10 units each, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. And you just make sure it's kind of split up evenly, as even as possible. And make sure that you're doing those shots in different areas on the body. What I mean is, don't do the same area all the time because if you're going to do more injections more often, you're going to cause some scar tissue in that area, and we don't want that to happen. So keep moving around the belly, okay? Or wherever you are doing it, but belly most likely, right? Then the other thing is timing and consistency. I know that we just talked about that with microdosing, but with your regular dose, don't eat anything 1 hour before or 1 hour after. Okay. Because that is where you're going to come into a problem, which is what we found out at the last seminar we went to. They've learned that it's going to metabolize mostly what you just ate or what you're eating right after if
Mhm.
you do it right away. So don't allow that to happen. Let it absorb into your body before you start eating food after the shot. Okay. So nothing the hour before and nothing the hour after. And then make sure that you most consistently do it on the exact same day every week if you're just doing the weekly shots. Okay. About the same time during the day as well. And that timing really has to do with food. So let's say you do it at 9 o'clock in the morning every single week. Perfect. Don't eat anything an hour before. Don't eat anything an hour after. And
Right.
then you're going to be golden. Okay. And then, some people, when they feel like they're stuck and we've tried all the tricks of the trade, we give you a week off, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off. Re shock your system. Get that into your system, like a little bit out of your system so that when you get it back into your system, it's going to be like, oh, okay, I feel it again.
Mhm.
Your body does have muscle memory, and this is a medication that actually your body begins to tolerate. So you do have to consistently go up little by little. So that's why we want you to go up as slow as you can, but as efficient as you can. Okay.
Yeah, one of the things we were talking to a couple of the pharmacies that we work with, and it was very the eye opening. Some of the numbers that they were sharing with us that they have been gathering from all the different providers that they work with. That a very small amount of people go to the max, and they found that going to the max is not always beneficial. The max dosage, it's not the most
Yeah.
efficient.
But
Uh,
that's only because once you get there, where else do you go?
right,
Right.
exactly.
So you can go back a little bit and then go back forward. But we do have other options once you get to the max. And there is plenty of people that get to the max dose. People that we were talking to probably didn't have a whole lot to lose because we've had people on 100 units for a year straight. So what my suggestion is switch to tirzepatide if you're at that point. Maybe add a peptide. There's few peptides you can add that will help with metabolization. And so those are some really good thoughts. Think about, what it is your issue is and let us know and we can work a plan out for you. Okay.
So one of the things that I don't think we mentioned, well, you may have mentioned, but briefly, was kind of the hormonal side of things.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. I kind of skipped over that one. But there are certain things that happen in the body that change about every 6 months. So chances are your hormones changed a little bit during this process. So you should go get your hormones checked and see where you're at. Because if you're a little off on testosterone or if your estrogen is dominant or you're deficient in progesterone, keep that in mind. But make sure you go to a specialist, someone that is aware of how hormones work. Okay. And how to balance them. Because it's not like when you go get your labs and everything is perfect, looks perfect on the labs because it's within reference range. That doesn't mean perfect. In fact, it has to be a certain amount of progesterone to estrogen. Okay. So there is a ratio we keep an eye on, and that ratio might look like it's perfect on the reference range for your labs, but it truly isn't. It's like way out of whack. So the people that are really good at hormones will understand what that ratio is. Okay.
And then you talked about a few other things that people can focus on, around the lifestyle changes. Talking about sleep, mindfulness, journaling, yoga, things like that, meditation. We've
Yeah.
taken up meditation more seriously now. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit about maybe some of the lifestyle changes that people should start to look into, because stress, inflammation, all of that does play into your ability, the body's ability to lose weight.
Yes, absolutely. So I do agree with journaling because when you're spending this much money on a medication to help you lose weight, you should keep an eye on how much protein you're taking in, how much weight, I'm sorry, how much of the greens you're doing, how much the water. So I really am more focused on your water diary. I want to see that you're doing 3 liters daily. But I think what he was more focusing on the journaling was your thoughts and your
How you feeling?
how you're feeling, your depression, your anxiety. What is it that's bugging you the most? And deal with that. Go do some meditation, guided meditation if necessary. I notice that when we do our meditation now, that I sleep better, and sleep is a huge factor. You need to get that 8 hours sleep or you cannot recover the next day. Your body's stressed. When your body's stressed, it starts to increase cortisol. When it increases cortisol, your inflammation increases. So everything is connected. So make sure that you're trying to bring down that stress level, your anxiety, do your guided meditations, make sure you journal. I think that is basically the rule of thumb, but there is some things that you can do for sleep, like sleep hygiene, keeping your phone away from you, making sure that you don't have a whole lot of lights in your room, TV, etc. Cover those up with a towel or something, and then that will help you to sleep a little bit better as well.
Yeah. And then a couple of the last things that I saw that we were talking about when we were prepping this was non-scale wins. You talked about it briefly, and you know, when you're looking at not just weight type situations, hey, is your clothes fitting better? Things like that. People just think that this medication, just I take it and I don't have to do anything. There's still work to be done, and
Yeah.
there's still wins that are coming. You just don't realize it because you're only looking at the scale.
Yeah, so make sure that you're looking at how well your clothes fit. If you're able to do a shape scale scan to see how much you've increased in muscle mass, how much you've decreased in the fat content, keep those in mind because the non scale wins are huge with this. So there's a few other things that I wanted to bring up. I've talked to a patient who hasn't lost weight in about 3 months. We really should think about something else. And she's like, no, I feel so good. My energy is better. I have less depression, less anxiety. So she was a patient who had PCOS. And so her PCOS has literally, according to labs, reversed, but she hasn't been losing weight. I think it's because she's kind of in her happy place, but she wants to stay on that maintenance dose. And that maintenance dose keeps her so happy and energetic and just wanting to
Yeah,
get up and take on the world every single day. So this isn't all about weight management. So I do see that as one of the non-scale wins as well.
right. Perfect. Anything else that comes to mind?
Just know that plateaus are normal. Don't
Yeah,
panic. Just keep working towards a few of those things that we told you to do, because those things will help you to stop the plateau. Okay. We don't know for sure why you're plateauing unless we do labs. So that's another thing. If you feel like, okay, I can't take this anymore, I need to stop this plateau, then do some labs.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I think that one of the big things I know it's been important that we've seen with the patients is that just continue to stay strong, keep moving forward, making sure that you're talking to your provider, make sure you're listening, make sure you're asking questions, things like that, and really kind of follow that process. This is not just a super magic pill and your weight just goes away. We
It's
have some patients.
wonderful, but
Yeah.
it's not magic.
Yeah, we've had patients that haven't lost much, and we know that there's a compliancy issue there. And
Yeah.
so that's unfortunate, but you know, the majority of our patients have celebrated some big wins.
One of the huge things is alcohol. If you cannot reduce your intake of alcohol, which that turns into sugar in your body, you're not going to lose weight very efficiently.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely another one. So perfect. All right. Well, that's it for us today. We're at our ranch and we're going to be working on some new things and doing some projects around here. But we'll have this episode coming out very soon and more to come. So please, continue to like our channel, give us the thumbs up. Please consider subscribing, sharing this with as many people. Ask your questions. We're constantly monitoring this. And so please ask your questions. We're happy to help out in any way that you can. And definitely If you've got questions or you're not getting the answers that you need, definitely check us out at optimumhealthmed.com. That's optimumhealthmed.com. You can call or text us at 801-756-1404. We're happy to chat with you, and hopefully maybe you come in and you can talk to Darlene a little bit more, and she can guide you, a little bit more efficiently on your journey for weight loss, overall health, and just feeling better and living better. All right.
All right.
Okay. We'll see you on the next one. We love you.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye.